This morning, horror bus crash in the New South Wales Hunter Valley. 10 people dead when a wedding bus rolls over. Dozens more rush to hospitals across the state, the worst disaster of its kind in decades.
So cruel and so sad and so unfair.
Also today, Katie Gallagher back in Canberra following claims she misled Parliament. At World Champions, Australia dominates India and England to claim the World Test Championship.
This is 7 News with Ann Sanders.
Good morning. We begin this morning with breaking news from the Hunter Valley region of New South Wales. A bus carrying passengers from a wedding has rolled over, killing at least 10 and injuring another 25. It happened late last night near the town of Greeter, about 90 minutes north of Sydney. We're going to go straight to reporter Liam Tapper, who's at the scene. Liam, take us through the response from emergency services this morning.
Good morning, Anne. Well, the response has been absolutely overwhelming for what can only be described as an absolute tragedy here in Greeter. We know that at around 11:30 last night there was a group leaving a wedding at Wyndon Estate Winery. They were then leaving to go down the Motor Expressway to Singleton where their accommodation was, and that is when tragedy struck. That is when these 10 people have lost their lives in this horrific bus crash. 11 more of those people, they have been airlifted to a number of hospitals, but 25 people in total, we understand, are being treated. This is really hard to put into words. We've seen police here on the scene, ambulance, fire and rescue, a multi-agency approach to this. This is the biggest road tragedy we've seen here in New South Wales since 1989. Such is the sheer scale of what is unfolding here in the Hunter Valley at the moment. The driver, how this all unfolded rather, this will be the main question that police, along with families, will be asking today. We know that crash scene investigators are currently there on the roundabout going through the evidence. The driver, he is a 58-year-old man. He is currently held at Cessnock Police Station. Let's have a listen to what the police had to say.
A 58-year-old man, the driver of the coach, was taken to hospital for mandatory testing, and he's now at Cessnock Police Station and currently under arrest.
Now, he will be questioned. As the police mentioned this morning, charges are likely, and so there has been some evidence that has likely come forward to make those charges a real reality.
Liam, can you tell us about the conditions of those passengers who were injured?
Yeah, this information as well, and it's slowly coming to hand, but we know that there were 11 people both taken by air in helicopter and by road to a number of hospitals. We know that the critical, those people who are undergoing life-saving surgery, they were taken to both the John Hunter Hospital. It's the main trauma hospital within the Newcastle Hunter region, and then there were other patients who were taken to the RPA in Sydney. We have some of the best surgeons in the country hoping to save these people who are in a critical condition as we go to air. There were a number of other people with minor injuries that were taken to Maitland Hospital, another hospital here in the Valley, along with another hospital in Newcastle. But this morning, we've heard so many people and given an outpouring of support, including the Prime Minister. We also know that the Premier, Chris Minns, is on his way. I spoke to him just a short while ago. He is on his way up the motorway to get a sense of the size and the scale and the trauma that so many people really are experiencing, Anne, because honestly, it is so hard to hard to put into words. Let's have a listen to what the Ambos had to say.
There was a number of fatalities and a number of red, orange and green patients that have been transported to John Hunter, Maitland, Calvary and also flown down to Sydney to RPA Hospital.
The people who have been flown to the RPA, are they the more critical ones, or are the more critical ones here at the John Hunter?
Look, with any type of this accident, we try and distribute them around. So the critical ones were flown to John Hunter and to RPA Hospital.
So there you go. Just this gives you an insight into the size of these injuries and just how many people will be affected, and it's still unknown at this stage. Must say that there still are bodies within the crime scene, the crash scene at the moment, because this is an ongoing police investigation. Those bodies are still yet to be taken out, but our thoughts certainly are with those families this morning, Anne.
Oh, they certainly are. Liam Tapper reporting live from the scene. Thank you very much, Liam. Well, locals are gathering to lay flowers and mourn those who were tragically killed. Our Sunrise presenter Matt Doran spoke with some of them this morning.
The 58-year-old bus driver, we understand, is in the police station, minor injuries, and is likely to be charged. Here with me now, just some locals who've turned out. You can only try to imagine the grief that is in this area of the Hunter Valley this morning. Thank you so much for talking to us. There's no way of asking how you are. How are you comprehending what's happened here?
Pretty difficult to comprehend. Yeah, we obviously don't know the people in the accident, but we just heard about it this morning and just devastating. Just
We've only been in the area a couple of years and it's a shock to our system.
Yeah.
What have you heard about what's happened? I mean,
we heard helicopters and stuff. We just live up the road there, so we heard the helicopters last night. We were woken up by it several times.
My friend that worked at Wandon and said there was an accident.
It's a really beautiful touch bringing down flowers. Thank you very much for talking to us this morning. I'm really grateful. So guys, it gives you a sense of what's happening all over the Hunter Valley, people turning out, trying to offer their support for what's happened here. We know that 10 people have died and a number of others are fighting for their life in hospital.
New South Wales Premier Chris Minns is on his way to the Hunter Valley this morning, describing the crash as a profoundly tragic event. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese spoke about the tragedy this morning.
All of us know the joy of going to a wedding, a chance to celebrate dear friends and family. They are some of the happiest times that you can have. For a joyous day like that in a beautiful place to end with such terrible loss of life and injury is so cruel and so sad and so unfair.
And we'll keep you updated on this unfolding story throughout the day and here on this extended edition of 7 News. But let's move on now to other news. And the federal government is preparing to back Finance Minister Katy Gallagher as she faces Parliament for the first time since admitting she knew about Brittany Higgins' rape allegations before they were made public. Live to political reporter Rachel Baxter in Canberra. Rachel, good morning. The opposition won't hold back.
Good morning, Anne. No, certainly not. The opposition will use these last 2 sitting weeks before the winter break to effectively double down on Katy Gallagher to explain exactly what she knew about the rape claims before they were made public. The senator told a Senate committee 2 years ago she had absolutely no idea about what had happened, but has conceded over the weekend she did have some knowledge after being tipped off by Brittany Higgins' partner, David Shiraz. However, the government will argue she did not have the full details of the allegations and therefore did not mislead Parliament. Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek defending her colleague this morning, insisting that the allegations were not weaponised for political purposes.
Both of those things are completely untrue, and there is no one with more integrity in the Parliament than Senator Katy Gallagher. She is an excellent person.
When you say you don't have any knowledge, it means you don't have any knowledge. Now, quite obviously, Senator Gallagher did. Looks like Senator Wong did. Looks like others did. Senator Gallagher, Senator Wong, others who decided to take this into the Parliament did the wrong thing.
Now, Senator Gallagher is also expected to be referred by former Defence Minister Linda Reynolds to the new National Anti-Corruption Commission over a multi-million-dollar payout to Brittany Higgins, paid for on the taxpayers' dime. Anne?
Rachel Baxter in Canberra. Thanks, Rachel. AFL Premiership star Marlene Pickett has been arrested and charged with multiple counts of aggravated burglary and criminal damage. But as Ben Downey reports, he's poised to fight the charges and his club Richmond will support him all the way.
Good morning. 4 counts of aggravated burglary and 3 counts of stealing. They're very serious charges levelled against Marlene Pickett over a series of alleged burglaries that are said to have occurred in the off-season between December and January. Now, police arrested Pickett at the weekend following Richmond's victory over Fremantle here in Perth. Since then, he's been locked up in the Perth Watch House. Richmond's released a statement confirming those charges and saying the club will continue to support Marlon and his family while the matters are dealt with. As the matter is before the courts, the club will not be making any further comment. Now, the 31-year-old made his AFL debut for the side in the 2019 Grand Final, where he kicked his first AFL goal. And he's since spoken at length about how a 2011 stint in prison had woken him up. Pickett's manager says his client will fight these charges. First comes his bail application in an hour here in Perth.
A teenage girl and a woman have been airlifted to hospital after a runaway car slammed into them at the Alexandra Speedway northeast of Melbourne. It's believed an unoccupied car began rolling down a hill just after 10 p.m, hitting two spectators. A 16-year-old girl and 20-year-old woman were flown to hospitals in Melbourne with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The vehicle owner was interviewed by police but has since been released. Next in 7 News, more on our breaking news from the Hunter Valley. Plus, the Australian favourites honoured by the King, stars of the stage and masters of the medical field. Record crowds expected for today's big freeze at the MCG. And in sport with Novak Djokovic sets a new mark at the French Open.
It starts tonight at the special time, 7 o'clock.
I'm definitely the most powerful man on the island. If I've got to cut someone's leg off and eat that over the fire, that's what I'll do.
When society's rules don't exist.
Slaughter them.
Here, it's not the wildlife you have to watch out for. $1 Million Island starts tonight at the special time, 7 o'clock.
Some see a personalised plate. We see spirited adventures, twisting country roads and perfectly timed pit stops. More than a plate, it's an escape. Create yours at myplates.com.au.
Private health insurance prices up again. You need a better deal.
Like me. So compare with iSelect on health insurance, car insurance and energy. Compare, select and save with iSelect.
Wonderful.
How? Velocity frequent flyer points.
That was fast.
You'll get used to it.
Go from earning points to enjoying rewards fast. Velocity means fast.
Welcome to the Lipton Tea Factory, where we pick the finest quality leaves that make this natural velvety cuppa the #1 tea brand in the world. Lipton Quality Black. Every sip's delish.
Matt, you own multiple restaurants, so I shouldn't have to tell you this, but speed is everything. That's why Square's tools have to go lickety-split. Go on, put an order and see if it can beat me to the kitchen.
All right, let's go.
Okay, go!
Order in.
There's no way that was that fast! Square, everything your business needs. Almost.
Get a read on massive winter savings with the Daily Telegraph. Act right now and get unlimited digital access for just $1 a week for the first 12 weeks. Don't miss out. Subscribe today. Call 1-800 323 999.
Oh, nice. Getting a bit of quokka size in. Just trying to get my paws on this HBF deal.
Fancy a boost?
You've done this before, right?
Get 4 weeks free plus a gift card on eligible hospital and extras cover. HBF.
MG presents The Art of the End of Financial Year Sale. Incredible value on the MG3 from $19,990 and ZS from $24,690. Ready for immediate delivery. See the collection at your MG dealer today.
At Spotlight, Spot Check sale, save 40% off all Everest bedding. Famous Big Brand Quilt Cover Sets Queen Bed, VIP price $69. VIP save 50% off winter blankets. So tuck it, shake it and snuggle it for less. All backed by our bargain guarantee. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
We return now to today's major breaking news from the Hunter Valley region of New South Wales. A bus carrying wedding guests has rolled over and at this stage 10 people are confirmed dead. Another 25 were rushed to hospital. Live now to Evan Batten at Cessnock Police Station. Evan, the driver of the bus will be charged.
Oh, good morning, Anne. That is one absolute certainty we do know for sure, and most likely with 10 counts of negligent driving occasioning death. The delay that we're being told about now is just while police formally identify the victims. That is a procedural part of the process that has to happen before they can lay those charges. And likely another 25 counts of negligent driving occasioning actual bodily harm for those other people who are injured. Of course, all of this could change as those injuries become more serious. It is possible as well that police may decide that they have enough to charge the driver with dangerous driving, a much more serious charge that carries more severe penalties. We know that he was taken to hospital last night and given mandatory drug and alcohol testing. 7 News understands the result of that testing was negative, and they are now focusing all efforts. The Crash Investigation Unit is focusing all of their attention on the driver behaviour. Of course, drug and alcohol are not being a factor in this at this stage, we understand. And so, you know, how did the driver navigate that roundabout will be a key focus for police. Let's just take a listen to what they had to say a short time ago this morning.
He's under arrest. He's been the driver of a motor vehicle collision where there have been fatal injuries, and there will be charges pending.
So, Anne, the 58-year-old driver is currently in the police station, we understand, being interviewed by police. It is possible that this afternoon he'll be taken to the courthouse just next door if those charges are finalised, but of course we're waiting to have an update from police on that. Anne?
Evan Batten at Cessnock Police Station. Thank you, Evan. Today, more than 1,000 outstanding Australians are being recognised with King's Birthday honours for their contributions to our country. Included on the list are leaders in medicine and science, as well as stars of the screen and stage, including one who was a royal favourite.
He brought joy to millions of people around the world, including the King and Queen.
They've found me a better seat.
Now our beloved Barry Humphries has posthumously been awarded Australia's top honour. Fellow comedians Judith Lucy and Denise Scott also scored a spot for making us laugh, alongside Australia's leading lady of musical theatre, Marina Pryor.
I'm thrilled. It came out of the blue. I'm proud, and I'm really excited. Yeah, it's fantastic.
The Lord Mayor of Melbourne, Sally Capp, and the Lord Mayor of Sydney, Clover Moore, also made the grade.
I'm really proud of transforming the city, creating walkable streets, a bike network.
Channel 7 journalist Helen Wellings has also been recognised for her impressive career.
It's been more than just a job. It's been a long campaign on consumer rights that spanned, well, I have to say about 50 years, but 25 years of those with Channel 7.
Dr. Roger Badham is the man behind hundreds of our favourite sporting events. A meteorologist for 50 years, he's the weatherman advising yacht races, test matches and Olympic Games.
10 Olympic Games, that goes right back to Korea in 1988.
And then there's Lorraine Griffiths, who's fostered more than 140 children over 21 years.
Foster caring is rewarding. It's to see how the kids grow, how they rebuild their confidence, self-esteem, and they really come out of their shell.
Today, their day in the sun. Angelique Opie, 7 News.
Fresh from the Reserve Bank's latest rate hike, eyes have now turned to the US, where the Fed is gearing up to deliver its latest interest rates decision in the coming days. Let's bring in our Network Finance Editor, Gemma Acton. Gemma, good morning. How will another US rate hike affect the Australian economy?
Good morning, Anne. Well, it looks as though consumers and businesses in the US might actually be let off the hook this month, but that will, of course, depend on tomorrow's US inflation numbers. Inflation in the US has dropped sharply from more than 9% a year ago to less than 5% by April, but if it does pick up again, just like we saw in Australia last month, the Fed might push through another hike. Now, the more hikes, the greater the risk of the Fed overshooting and the US slipping into a recession. As the world's biggest economy, that will of course impact Australia, particularly our exports. Since last week's Reserve Bank hike, fears of a homegrown recession here have also risen. And now it is a busy week indeed for central banks. The European Central Bank is expected to hike rates by another 0.25% in the coming days.
Gemma Acton reporting. Thanks a lot, Gemma. Next in 7 News, sport with Matt Carmichael, including the Maroons lose another forward ahead of Origin 2. Carlton's season of misery continues in the AFL, and the Aussies send a warning to the Poms ahead of the Ashes, claiming the World Test Championship.
The true meaning of exclusive is delivered every night. 7 News can reveal that
we have exclusive details.
Know the news with 7 News.
At Spotlight Spot Take Sale, VIP save 30 to 60% off cookware, 30 to 50% off dinnerware and glassware. VIP save 30 to 40% off quilting fabric by the metre. So make it and quilt it for less. All backed by a bargain guarantee. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Doesn't get any better than this.
Extra gooey caramel, coated with luscious Tim Tam chocolate. Discover our most indulgent Tim Tam range ever. What more could you wish for?
Coles, help keep the cost of living down this winter with more dropped and locked prices, like Coles 100% Aussie lamb whole leg roast, dropped and locked at $12 a kilo until August 29. Dropped and locked prices at Coles.
At Amplithon, we believe in personalisation.
Hi, Gary.
If I'm watching TV, I'll miss my phone or the doorbell ring.
I can set you up so you can receive calls right into your hearing aid. You can even connect them to a TV and doorbell with Bluetooth.
Now I've heard everything. I'll get it.
Now I've heard everything.
Tell us about your lifestyle and we'll customise a solution to meet your needs. Book a free hearing check today. Call 13MyEars today.
Get a read on massive winter savings with the Daily Telegraph. Act right now and get unlimited digital access for just $1 a week for the first 12 weeks. Don't miss out. Subscribe today. Call 1800 323 999.
Right now at Bingley, our top brands are going fast.
Now you see them, now you don't.
Our Yenda financial year sale is on now.
Huge deals store-wide, from fridges to Fitbits.
The Yenda financial year sale, only at Bingley.
Australia is having a conversation about the referendum being held later this year.
So what's it about?
It's about whether we should change the Constitution to recognise the First Peoples of Australia by setting up an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice.
The voice will be a permanent body.
And it'd give independent advice to the Parliament and Government on matters that affect First Nations people.
Be ready for the conversation.
Visit voice.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Eggs. Crack 'em, whisk 'em, fry 'em, poach 'em, strain 'em, drain 'em, boil and oil 'em.
Eggs. They're nutritious and delicious, so your family can
kick it, catch it, swing and ride it, throw it, bowl it, jump it, jive it.
Get cracking, Australia.
Good morning. Australia have sent a clear warning to England. They're armed to win the Ashes by thumping India to claim their first World Test Championship. Europe Bureau Chief Hugh Whitfield was at the Oval in London.
Scott Boland was the man of the moment here at the Oval, claiming the prize scalp of Virat Kohli via a Steve Smith screamer at second slip.
Edged and taken. Steve Smith has pulled off a beauty, and it's Virat Kohli.
Kohli gone for 49, and from there the Indians didn't put up much of a fight. The final 7 wickets fell for just 55 runs. The Indian media has laid into their side Indian legend Sunil Gavaskar describing Kohli's performance as ridiculous, the Indian batting lineup as a shambles. Nathan Lyon and Mitchell Starc cleaned up the tail.
By the end of the game, all us bowlers felt like we'd hit a rhythm. I feel like we're that good balance of feeling like we're ready to go, but also fresh and ready for 5 tests.
So some big calls for the Aussie selectors to make over the next 24 to 48 hours, with the Ashes beginning in less than a week and Australia having arguably the best fast bowling lineup, best bowling lineup in world cricket. Josh Hazlewood will come back into the mix for the Ashes. Expect the selectors to enforce somewhat of a rotation policy, particularly involving the quicks, but that won't involve Pat Cummins, who has just captained Australia to a World Test Championship win.
Some tough but great choices to make. Thanks, Hugh. Carlton's season is going from bad to worse in the AFL. Thumped 86-52 by the Bombers overnight. Harry Mackay's goalkeeping yips continued, but at the other end it was a welcome return for Peter Wright, kicking 5 goals in his first game of the year.
Mr. Wright indeed. 3 goals in the third term for Peter Wright. Bombers have kicked 7-1.
The Bombers move into the top 6 with their 4th straight win. Today at the MCG, it's Collingwood and Melbourne in the King's birthday game featuring the annual Big Freeze, raising funds for motor neurone disease, live on 7 and 7 Mate. Queensland are set to recall forwards Mo Fotuaika and Jeremiah Nane for State of Origin 2. 19th man for Game 1, Christian Welsh has copped a 1 to 2 game ban for a hip drop tackle in the Storm's win over the Sharks. In try-scoring form, Xavier Coates will replace the injured Selwyn Cobbo. Cronulla coach Craig Fitzgibbon is backing Nico Hines to wear the Blues number 7, despite struggling in a 54-10 hiding.
It would have been handy for him to have a stronger team performance today so he could shine, but that didn't happen. But yeah, he's got a strong body of work behind him.
New South Wales coach Brad Fittler will have a close eye on Eels halfback Mitch Moses in Parramatta's clash with Canterbury this afternoon. Novak Djokovic has become the greatest men's Grand Slam winner of all time, claiming his 23rd title with victory at Roland Garros this morning. The Serbian beat Casper Ruud in the French Open final, surpassing Rafael Nadal. Djokovic is also the first male to win all 4 majors 3 times or more.
To know that I am one ahead of both of them in Grand Slams with Rafa, but at the same time, everyone writes their own history.
The 36-year-old Djokovic, the oldest French champion, will be reinstated as world number 1, extending his record for that title too. The Canadian Open went to a 4th playoff hole and Nick Taylor with a 21-metre putt to win it this morning.
Are you serious? Oh my goodness! Glorious and free!
Wild celebrations as the first Canadian winner of their National Open in 69 years. A heartbreaker for 2-time major runner-up Tommy Fleetwood. The English star is still yet to win on the PGA Tour. And a very big day at the MCG today. They raised so much money, so much more than football today.
Oh, fantastic to see, isn't it?
Cheers.
Thank you. Still to come on this extended edition of 7's Morning News, we'll return to our breaking news. Our reporters are across the Hunter Valley with the latest developments on this horrific bus crash at Greta.
Strap yourself in, because what we're investigating will be groundbreaking.
Were you intimate with Brittany Higgins?
This unit have been given authorisation, shoot to kill.
The discovery right here on this beach.
And the breaking evidence in the Lady Vanishes case. Brand new Spotlight, Sunday.
Who are you? Uncle Jim says they're dentists.
Yuck.
The European royalty.
Vanished. Really?
They're real estate agents.
Embarrassing.
Maybe they're aliens.
What the hell?
Consultants. What's that?
I hear he's funny.
How funny?
It just doesn't make sense.
Keep him guessing with the brand new Honda ZR-V.
At Red Energy, we're proud to have been awarded Australia's most trusted electricity provider 3 years in a row. Thanks to our reliable, trusted service right when you need it. So make the switch to Red.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Thankfully, her insurance will cover the rebuild.
Especially as she added Budget Direct Sum Insured Safeguard to her policy.
Home rebuild costs higher than expected? We'll increase the sum insured up to 25%.
Insurance solved with Budget Direct.
This is a big deal in every way, Sydney. Right now, you can book your next holiday and save up to 40% on the cost of your cruise. Plus, book with a half-price deposit. This deal won't last, so hurry. Come seek Royal Caribbean.
Get a read on massive winter savings with the Daily Telegraph. Act right now and get unlimited digital access for just $1 a week for the first 12 weeks. Don't miss out. Subscribe today. Call 1-800 323 999.
Invest with Latrobe Financial, Australia's multi-award-winning wealth manager, returning a current variable rate of 6% per annum. Reviewed monthly on a 12-month investment. Trusted by Australians for 7 decades.
Get 40% off Bond's greatest hits, featuring all your faves. The Zippies, the Retro Ribs, the Sweats. Shop 40% off everything in-store and online now.
Sub Barbecue is back at Subway. The sauciest, fall-apartiest barbecue pulled pork sub. And a new smoky chipotle chicken coated in a spice rub. Barbecue on a sub. Brilliant.
This weather report brought to you by the iconic Subway footlong sub.
Welcome back to this extended edition of 7's Morning News. We're following breaking news. At least 10 people have been killed, 25 others injured in a horror bus crash in the state's Hunter Valley region. The accident happened late last night when a bus carrying passengers coming back from a wedding rolled over in Greta. Heather Miller reports.
A bus on its side, its front window shattered. A scene of utter tragedy.
Major incident declared. We have a bus rollover, multiple patients.
Ambulance radio revealing the horror of what first responders were confronted with.
At this stage, we have identified 7, I repeat, 7 code 4s. We have 1 red label patient whose injuries are severe.
Code 4 fatalities. Red label patients are critical.
I still don't have exact numbers for you, but we're working our best here.
The bus was travelling back from a wedding at nearby Wandon Estate Winery. But as a day of celebrations wrapped up, the bus was meant to take guests home. It never made it.
We just got the news that there's been a crash and we all started panicking.
Rolling near a roundabout on Wine Country Drive near the Hunter Expressway at Greta just before midnight. 10 people confirmed dead, another 25 taken to hospital, some barely holding on.
Whilst they're paramedics every day of their lives, something like this is, not a job that they go to every day.
7 helicopters called in to rush the most seriously injured to hospital, others taken by a convoy of ambulances.
With any type of this accident, we try and distribute them around. So the critical ones were flown to John Hunter and to RPA Hospital.
The 58-year-old bus driver arrested, mandatory testing coming back clear.
He's been the driver of a motor vehicle collision where there have been fatal injuries, and there will be charges pending.
A wall of fog shrouding the scene of the tragedy, clearing as night became morning, only to shed new light on the horror before first responders and a shattered community.
I felt really sick when you hear about this.
So there's a potential that people could be still trapped under that bus as you try and work?
There is that potential, yes.
A night which was supposed to be a celebration of love and community, forever marked by inconceivable devastation.
And everyone's happy when they arrive and it looks a beautiful venue, and then the tragic of this that happens on the way home.
For a joyous day like that in a beautiful place to end with such terrible loss of life and injury is so cruel and so sad and so unfair.
Heather Miller, 7 News.
We'll take you live now to Liam Tapper, who's at the scene for us. Liam, the Premier has arrived on the scene.
Yeah, good morning, Anne. Just moments ago, Chris Minns, he did arrive here and he's currently behind me in that police van where he is getting an official briefing on the situation that is currently unfolding here in the Hunter Valley. There's an eerie silence here this morning. So many locals are coming past. We're seeing flowers being laid down there at the roundabout just metres away from where this tragedy has unfolded, and there's a real silent sense of reflection to pause and to think about the lives that have been lost. 10 lives, as we know, the deadliest road tragedy in the state's history for some years now. Chris Minns, we understand that he will go down to the scene. He will take it in to speak with a number of locals, speak with a number of some of these first responders here to really get a grasp of what's unfolded, because, and it's all morning. It's been so hard to put into words, so hard to comprehend the loss of life in one tragic moment. 10 people have lost their lives. We know that there are 11 who are critically injured. Some of those bodies, they still remain here at the scene, Anne.
Yes, our thoughts go to all those who've lost their loved ones this morning. Liam Tapper, thank you very much. Evan Batten is at Cessnock Police Station. Evan, the driver of the bus is expected to be charged today.
Hello, Anne. Yeah, well, that is an absolute certainty. They're in the process of doing that right now at Cessnock Police Station, right here where I am. That 58-year-old is being interviewed. A key part of the investigation will be relying on his account as the driver. We know that, as Liam just mentioned, the drug and alcohol test results came back negative, and so they will be looking at driver behaviour, and key to their investigation will be determining what his account is, what issues were at play. We know fog was a very serious issue. There was a roundabout there. We understand that there was some construction going on. all sorts of issues will be at play. Is speed a factor? What other things will have come into it? We know that they are considering laying at the very least 10 charges of negligent driving occasioning death, another 25 charges likely of negligent driving occasioning actual bodily harm. Of course, any of those negligence charges could be upgraded to dangerous driving, depending on what else crash investigators can determine as they test the bus, the brakes, the mechanics to see if there was any fault with the vehicle at all. Of course, that is the other potential here. And then, of course, Anne, we will expect the driver would be put before court at the earliest opportunity, potentially this afternoon, given the serious nature of these charges. Anne?
All right, Evan, thank you for updating us. Evan Batten reporting there. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the nation's thoughts are with the families and loved ones of those who were in the Hunter Valley bus crash. Live to political reporter Rachel Baxter. Rachel, he's made a statement in Canberra this morning.
That's right, and he has. The Prime Minister says weddings are supposed to be some of the happiest times, but the crash has turned a celebration into a tragedy. He's also given his thanks to the first responders and those helping at the horrific scene. Let's take a listen.
For a joyous day like that in a beautiful place to end with such terrible loss of life and injury is so cruel and so sad and so unfair. People hire a bus for weddings in order to keep their guests safe, and that just adds to the unimaginable nature of this tragedy. All Australians' thoughts go out to the family, friends and loved ones of those we've lost in such horrific circumstances. My government will provide whatever support is necessary to the families as details become clearer. For now, we're thinking of you. Australia wraps its arms around you, and Australians' hopes and prayers are with you on this tragic day.
Now, tributes have also been pouring out too from federal opposition leader Peter Dutton, taking to Twitter saying it's a terrible tragedy after the joy of a wedding. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns saying it is nothing short of heartbreaking and the thoughts of our state are with you. And as you just heard, Anne, from Liam Tapper on the scene there a short time ago, the Premier has arrived at the site this morning.
Rachel Baxter joining us from Canberra. Thank you, Rachel. New South Wales Police Acting Assistant Commissioner Tracy Chapman spoke earlier today. Here's what she had to say at the press conference.
Thank you for coming this morning on a very difficult morning and some tragic circumstances. At approximately 11:30 p.m. last night, emergency services were called to the roundabout on Wine Country Drive, just near the Hunter Expressway off-ramp, in relation to a motor vehicle collision. Upon arrival, it was identified that a coach had overturned on that roundabout, and at this stage it appears to be a single vehicle collision. At this stage, there are 10 people confirmed deceased, and a further 25 people have been transported to hospital, and at this stage they have varying injuries. A 58-year-old man, the driver of the coach, was taken to hospital for mandatory testing, and he's now at Cessnock Police Station and currently under arrest. A crime scene has been established, and that scene is currently being forensically examined by both Crash Investigation Unit and Specialist Forensic Police. If there are friends or family of anyone who may have been on that bus, we are still trying to identify all of the people on the bus. They can contact Cessnock Police Station. If there are people with information in relation to the accident, they should contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. We have family liaison officers who will be assigned to families to work with them and ensure that they have the support and welfare around them that they need.
You said the driver is actually under arrest.
He's under arrest, yes.
That, action?
He's under arrest. He's been the driver of a motor vehicle collision where there have been fatal injuries, and there will be charges pending.
What sort of charges? Are we saying
it's too early.
Played a role here?
It's too early to go into any of those issues. It's my understanding that there were 2 people airlifted. There are a number of helicopters in the event that further required airlift, but most people were transported by road. Look, I'm aware that it was confronting and very traumatic scene. Wherever you've got that large-scale incident with that many people, it's going to be difficult for anyone. So our thoughts are with police and all first responders who attended. From a policing perspective, we have suitable welfare processes in place to make sure that our officers receive support and welfare after being confronted with something like this.
New South Wales Premier Chris Minns is speaking. Let's take a listen.
A terrible day in New South Wales. The state woke up this morning to hear devastating news in an area that we normally associate with so much happiness and joy, and to think that people came together to experience a day of joy and instead have been met with undeniable despair.
That was New South Wales Premier Chris Minns. We'll give you more of that a little bit later on. US presidential candidate Donald Trump is toast, according to the man to be handpicked to be his Attorney General during his last stint in the White House. Bill Barr painting a damning portrait of the legion of charges against his ex-boss. US Bureau Chief David Woywood reports.
Hours out from a history-making appearance here at this Miami courthouse by a former president and now presidential candidate, and cracks appear to be forming at the highest levels of the Republican Party. Donald Trump's one-time ally, a man he appointed US Attorney General Bill Barr, laying bare, as he sees it, the legal realities of Donald Trump's legal fight ahead.
If even half of it is true, then he's toast. I mean, it's a very detailed indictment. And it's very, very damning.
37 charges of mishandling classified documents loom over Donald Trump. Claims he willfully resisted handing them back over, directing staff to stash the boxes across his Mar-a-Lago home, bedroom, bathroom and ballroom. A political hit job, Trump told followers who backed claims this was a witch hunt as he hit the campaign trail over the weekend.
Yes, he's been a victim in the past. Yes, his adversaries have obsessively pursued him with phony claims, and I've been at his side defending against them when he is a victim. But this is much different. He's not a victim here.
Bill Barr, a disgruntled former employee Trump shot back online, a lazy Attorney General who was weak and totally ineffective. He doesn't mean what he's saying, it's just misinformation. A defiant Trump is steering clear of his home state of Florida for now, strategising instead with advisers at his Bedminster, New Jersey estate, the grounds he'll return to give remarks hours after he becomes the first US president to face federal criminal charges.
Scotland's former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has been released without charge after she was arrested by police. She was questioned as part of an investigation into the Scottish National Party's finances. Detectives are looking at what happened to more than $1 million in donations given to the party for a second independence vote. Ms Sturgeon has since released a statement saying she knows she's innocent of any wrongdoing. Part of a highway bridge in the US has collapsed after a truck caught fire in the underpass. Smoke and flames could be seen pouring from the burning tanker near an on-ramp on the Philadelphia highway. Fire crews battling the blaze said runoff from the truck also caused explosions underground. No cars were on the bridge when it collapsed, but authorities say it's going to take months to repair. 3 British tourists are missing after a fire broke out on board a dive boat on Egypt's Red Sea. It's believed the blaze was sparked by an electrical short circuit in the boat's engine room. 26 other people were rescued by the crew of another boat. The flames spread so quickly that some of those on board were forced to jump into the sea. We're going to take a break now, but we'll have more from the scene, as well as an update on the condition of the survivors from our reporter at John Hunter Hospital in Newcastle.
Eggs. Crack 'em, whisk 'em, fry 'em, poach 'em, strain 'em, drain 'em, boil and oil 'em.
Eggs. They're nutritious and delicious, so your family can
kick it, catch it, swing and ride it, throw it, bowl it, jump it, jive it.
Get cracking, Australia.
An all-castle duplex can optimise the value of your property. That's 2 homes. Live in one, rent one. All-castle homes duplexes, starting at $689,995.
Make it all-castle homes.
At Nurofen, we know pain can strike anywhere. Help melt the pain away with Nurofen Meltlets, a quick, convenient pain relief that melts in your mouth so you can keep going without breaking stride. Nurofen Meltlets. Leave the pain to us.
At Amplifon, we believe in personalisation.
Hi, Gary.
If I'm watching TV, I'll miss my phone or the doorbell ring.
I can set you up so you can receive calls right into your hearing aid. You can even connect them to a TV and doorbell with Bluetooth.
Now I've heard everything. I'll get it.
Now I've heard everything.
Tell us about your lifestyle and we'll customise a solution to meet your needs. Book a free hearing check today. Call 13MyEars today.
Yes, yes, yes! New Finish Ultimate Plus, now with Cycle Sync technology. The tab also tackles tough burnt-on stains. Our best dishwashing tablet, effective even in short cycles.
Wonderful.
Velocity frequent flyer points.
That was fast.
You'll get used to it.
Go from earning points to enjoying rewards fast. Velocity means fast.
With Australian Unity Health Insurance, you'll be all smiles when you get up to 100% back on your dental checkup. Live your best life. Search Australian Unity today.
We check thousands of competitors' products daily. If we see a lower price, then we drop ours. Find a lower priced identical stocked item
and we'll beat it by 5%.
I mean, that's sensational.
Do you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. It traps and removes waste from your gut and helps lower cholesterol. Join the Metamucil 2-week challenge now.
Welcome back to our breaking news. The tragic wedding bus crash. 10 people have been confirmed dead and 25 more taken to hospital in Greta in the New South Wales Hunter region. They were travelling back to their accommodation after a wedding at nearby Wandon Estate Winery. It was a one-car collision, the bus going through a roundabout when it rolled, and police are investigating what caused the accident. The 58-year-old bus driver has been arrested and taken to Cessnock Police Station. We are expecting him to be charged. We understand he did test negative to drugs and alcohol. The country is in mourning, shocked by this horrific turn of events. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns is at the crash scene. He's just spoken. Let's bring you that now.
Well, thanks everybody for being here on what is obviously a terrible day in New South Wales. The state woke up this morning to hear devastating news in an area that we normally associate with so much happiness and joy, and to think that people came together to experience a day of joy and instead have been met with undeniable despair is truly shocking to the people of New South Wales. Whatever the final toll is in this terrible accident, it will be more than we can bear. This morning I spoke to the Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, as well as local mayors Sue Moore from Singleton and Jay Saval from Cessnock, as well as local members of Parliament, to offer the sympathies and condolences of the New South Wales Government and any help and support we can offer this community as they deal with this terrible, terrible tragedy in the coming days. The next few days and the next few weeks may be worse than the initial shock as it fully comes to the realisation of what this community has gone through. Clearly we've been dealt a terrible, terrible accident in New South Wales this morning. I've had a briefing from Assistant Acting Commissioner Tracy Chapman about the circumstances on the ground, about the salvage efforts on the location, as well as the on-site investigation which will take place for the rest of today and in the coming days. We've also had briefings from New South Wales Health, and the obvious next step in terms of this operation is to care for those that have been injured and make sure that they can be mended through this terrible, terrible incident. We need to make sure also that all the resources are available to this community as they deal with the shock and trauma associated with the events of 11:30 last night. in order. We need to make sure that we mend the injured, we care for those that have lost a loved one over the last few days, and also we give a big thanks to emergency service workers, police officers, firefighters and paramedics in New South Wales who drop everything when they hear an alarm and have no idea what they're on the road to deal with. But obviously, and in some instances, it's life-altering. We need to be there for them in the coming days. This has been a terrible, terrible event in the history of New South Wales. And I think today is a day to hug someone that you love and remember how precious life is. I'm going to hand over now to
Premier Chris Minns. We have audio of the initial emergency call-out. The paramedic identified 9 code 4s. That's the emergency services code for someone who has died. Very controlled, as you'd expect, but clearly a significant crisis.
Update, we have 9 code 4s at this location. We now have a casualty clearing station and treatment area. I still don't have exact numbers for you, but we're working our best here.
Our reporter Robert Avadia is at John Hunter Hospital and joins us now. Rob, good afternoon to you. Many of the patients were taken there this morning.
Hi, and yes, my understanding is that 8 patients were brought here. We just heard from the Premier, Chris Minns, saying that it is difficult to bear, and the numbers would certainly bear that out. As we've been hearing this morning, 25 injured, 10 dead. One of those code 4s, of the 9 code 4s we just heard from paramedics, was rushed here to John Hunter Hospital, unfortunately died on the way. They were the 10th victim, and my information is that the 9 other victims remain to this minute trapped and crushed beneath that bus. It is a terrible scene. One of the critically injured is here, and earlier this morning my colleague Liam Tapper spoke with paramedics.
So this evening, just after 11:30, we got called to a bus rollover at Greta, which is just near Cessnock. On arrival, we had a number of patients, a total of 37, who were all involved in that in the bus. There was a number of fatalities and a number of red, orange and green patients that have been transported to John Hunter, Maitland, Calvary and also flown down to Sydney to RPA Hospital.
The people who have been flown to the RPA, are they the more critical ones, or are the more critical ones here at the John Hunter?
Look, with any type of this accident, we try and distribute them around. So the critical ones were flown to John Hunter and to RPA Hospital.
And give us what you can, but what are some of the extent of the injuries, the people who have at this point survived? Can you give us some insight into some of the injuries that they've sustained?
Look, I don't have the specifics, and obviously, you know, we need to make sure that family are made aware before anything's revealed. So, yeah.
And I guess that's the next part, isn't it? It's the toll that this will take on the families. You know, you can't imagine what they're feeling today.
Oh, absolutely. My thoughts go out for all the family that are involved, and obviously the police are currently helping liaise to notify the family.
And I guess how are your staff doing? I know we say that you do this every day, but not something to this scale. How are they doing?
Oh, look, whilst they're paramedics every day of their lives, something like this is, you know, not a job that they go to every day. So I'm incredibly proud of all the paramedics that attended. They did a fantastic job under the circumstances, and no doubt, you know, they'll be reflecting, and we'll make sure that we have the right support there for them as well.
Now, 7 News is certainly aware of the nature of some of those injured here and at Royal North Shore Hospital in Sydney as well. They are perhaps too graphic to air for the moment, but they involve crush injuries as well as limbs too. So terrible details coming out from here today, and the fear is that the toll may well grow as well.
Hard to come to terms with the extent of the tragedy. Robert Avadia reporting. Thanks very much, Rob. And alongside the Premier, Police Assistant Commissioner Tracy Chapman has been giving an update.
Sure. So at Cessnock Police Station, we've got a team in place there who are receiving calls from family members and friends. That information is assisting us as well with our inquiries and our efforts to identify those who have been deceased. Obvious difficulties for us is processing the scene and working through all of that process to enable us to give some clarity to family members about what's happened. So we're still working through that.
Has the remaining bodies that were on the bus been removed at this point, or are they still there?
No, the bodies remain in situ at the scene at this point in time as we continue to process that.
You mentioned the driver this morning. Any update on where we're at with charges?
So the driver is still in custody at Cessnock Police Station and assisting with inquiries, and at this stage no charges are being laid.
Have you been able to identify any of the victims that you know of at this point?
So there are a number of victims, those who have been taken to hospital and are being treated and cared for. We're obviously able to identify those and speak with some of those as well. In terms of those who are deceased, we certainly have a list of people who we're still trying to account for and working through that.
Have the survivors then given an account of what happened in that moment?
So we have had some witness statements at this point in time that were taken last night or later today in hospital. So again, that's part of the investigative process.
And is that playing a role in terms of the driver being investigated, what they had to say?
Well, yes, they're witnesses to what occurred last night. They're providing a version of a witness statement in terms of what they experienced, and that will assist us with our inquiries and furthering that investigation.
And have any of them mentioned at this point if seatbelts were being worn or if some people were not wearing seatbelts?
I couldn't comment on that at this point in time.
Superintendent, can you tell us anything about this accident that has led to such a terrible loss of life and such a large number of injuries? Was there anything about this particular accident that was, why is the injury count so extraordinary?
I mean, it was a large vehicle with a number of people on that vehicle. I won't speculate at this time about what the outcome of the crash investigation will bring us.
There are reports that the driver was driving erratically. Is that being investigated?
We're investigating all avenues of driver behaviour.
In terms of the people that you have spoken to so far that may have had more minor injuries, were any of them able to release themselves and walk away, or are they all sort of suffering more serious injuries at this point, even the ones that
My understanding is there were a number of victims who were involved in the collision who were able to free themselves and walk to help and aid.
And that was Police Assistant Commissioner Tracy Chapman speaking just a short time ago. Next in 7's Morning News, we'll have the national weather forecast for you.
Nivea 5-in-1 Rich Nourishing Body Lotion with intensive 48-hour moisture from first use for long-lasting hydration and healthy-looking skin. Dermatologically approved. From Nivea, Australia's #1 body brand.
Matto grew up on the land. Ever since he moved to the Big Smoke, he's dreamed of owning his own piece of paradise.
It's my own piece of paradise.
To some, toiling on your kingdom's upkeep is a chore.
It's actually the highlight of my week.
What that says about Matto's week may be debatable.
What's not debatable
is his choice to protect his castle with everyday home insurance from Woolworths. He gets quality cover and
10% off a Woolly shop every month. Bingo, dingo.
Make your insurance count. Make every day count.
At Amplifon, we believe in personalisation.
Hi, Gary.
If I'm watching TV, I'll miss my phone or the doorbell ring.
I can set you up so you can receive calls right into your hearing aid. You can even connect them to a TV and doorbell with Bluetooth.
Now I've heard everything. I'll get it.
Now I've heard everything.
Tell us about your lifestyle and we'll customise a solution to meet your needs. Book a free hearing check today. Call 13MyEars today.
Invest your super your way. Whether you're a hands-on investor or prefer to leave it to the experts, Host Plus has an investment option for you. Control over how your super is invested, that's a plus.
After every load, dirt, germs and other nasties can build up in your machine. For our ultimate clean, new Pino Clean Gold washing machine cleaner removes grime and odour and kills 99.9% of germs. It's not clean unless it's Pino Clean.
Come on, it's time for a change. You reckon? Yeah. I thought mine looked good.
I did it. It never looked back.
Compare the pair. Same age, same income, same starting balance. Whether Mike switched to an industry super fund 5, 10 or 20 years ago, he's been better off.
How'd you decide? I compared the pair.
movement that inspires.
Geez, another bill. Well, I guess I can get this one.
Oh, it's cool. I'll pay it.
No, it's all right. I'm shouting.
And done.
Get paid for paying bills. Do your thing.
This is a big deal in every way, Sydney. Right now, you can book your next holiday and save up to 40% on the cost of your cruise. Plus, book with a half-price deposit. This deal won't last, so hurry. Come seek Royal Caribbean.
Koshi leaves big shoes to fill. I'm excited, though, for what's to come.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
We're going to continue this incredible adventure together. Let's go.
Start with sunrise with Nat and Shervo.
Right now. The annual Big Freeze at the MCG will get underway very soon, and fundraising records for motor neuron disease are set to be smashed. Nathan Curry is there and getting in the spirit.
Morning, well, we've got a big crowd forming here at the MCG. We've got the inflatable beanies set up. We've got the MCC all ready to go. They've been here for hours. It doesn't actually open until midday, but there they are. We also have one of the sliders here with us, getting ready to go. Taylor Harris, you're going to get very cold in a few hours. How are you feeling?
I am. I'm already cold now, so I'm going to be freezing. I can't wait, though. It's going to be an incredible day.
It's cold here in Melbourne. Definitely wear the beanie. Honoured to be asked to go down the slide, but was there a particular reason why you were so keen to be involved?
Yeah, there was. My partner actually lost recently a loved one to the disease, so it was always going to be a yes. I think, yeah, you're pretty brave to say no, but yeah, it's just an incredible cause, and I think anything that I can do and we can do is worthwhile.
Fantastic. And I know we can't get you to reveal your costume, but can you give us a little hint to ponder over for the next few hours?
Yeah, a little hint. I've chosen the heroes side of the heroes and villains theme, so that probably narrows it down a little bit. So yeah, I'm always trying to be optimistic and positive, and I thought that was probably the way to go with this option, but yeah, that's what I'm doing.
That sounds good. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll let you get in there.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And I'm going to be pondering that hint for the next few hours, but 2 o'clock is when the sliders will head down that slide into the big ice bath.
Taking a look at the weather around the country now, a front will cool South Australia with strong winds, some showers and a few storms. A high will bring a few showers to Queensland, New South Wales and Tasmania with onshore winds. Another high will cause winds to ease and most showers to clear in WA. The highs will keep elsewhere dry and settled. Around the capital cities today, a possible shower in Brisbane, a top of 23. Partly cloudy in Sydney, 20 degrees today. Morning frost, then cloudy in Canberra and 13 degrees. Partly cloudy, becoming windy in Melbourne and 15. Partly cloudy in Hobart, a top of 16. Showers developing in Adelaide, 19 degrees the top today. A possible shower in Perth and 18 degrees. For Darwin, mostly sunny and 33 degrees. And that's all for this extended edition of 7's Morning News. I'm Ann Sanders. We'll have updates throughout the day. Our next major bulletin is at 4 o'clock and full coverage in 7 News at 6. Thanks for your company.
Stream 7 News anytime, live and on demand on 7 Plus. And with 7news.com.au, you'll know the news now.